New tonight at 7, should a public official be allowed to block someone on social media? That question has gone from Port Huron all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Joining us tonight from Washington, D.C. is James Freed, the Port Huron city manager, whose social media account is at the center of this case. James, thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So, a complicated case. I'm sure this has consumed much of your life in recent days, but for those who haven't been following this situation, how did this whole thing get started?
Yeah, so back in college, I started a Facebook account that I've had for, well, God, that was 17 years ago. And I use it to communicate with my friends and family. I do a lot of speaking across the country, and I quickly exceeded the 5,000 friend limit. So in about 2011, 2012, I converted it to a Facebook page. And one day during the pandemic, I noticed a guy who posted 3 really creepy smiley faces. And because I received security briefings, I knew who this individual was based on his criminal history. He's a convicted felon, multiple felonies. He's gone to jail for stalking and harassing men and women in our community. He's violated numerous personal protective orders and has gone to jail for that. A really creepy individual with a known history of stalking and harassing individuals in our community. I knew who he was, and so I blocked him on my Facebook page. I didn't want him to have access to my kids, to my family, not even my dog. He sued me, claiming I violated his First Amendment rights and that my Facebook page was somehow a public domain. A federal court dismissed the case ruling with us. Same with the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati. When I had my Facebook page, no city staff ever had access to it. It was never accessed on a city device or a city laptop. All of it was my personal phone and my personal computer at home. It was my personal page. And so he appealed to the Supreme Court, and here we are today in Washington, D.C. over a college kid's Facebook account.
So at that time when you decided to block him on your social media, had you blocked other people? Had this been a conversation for any other public officials about whether you can or cannot block somebody on social media?
I don't really block people because, people want to write criticism about me. That's okay. It's part of the job. I get criticism every day. There's a million different ways to get your criticism to me. I blocked a few people, but the vast majority of them were his fake accounts. So the stalker had made very sophisticated fake accounts, whether it be females or males of fake names and fake activity. And so he would use those to continue stalking us and harassing us. And so I blocked a couple of those as well. But typically I don't really block people. It's really just no one really cares. It's pictures of my dog. It's pictures of what I had for dinner. My kids, a lot of pictures of my daughter and my family on vacations and whatnot, like any typical American does with their Facebook page.
So what do you do now that this is all in question and the case is being heard by the U.S. Supreme Court? Have you started a second Facebook page, or do you have alternate accounts?
No, I just deactivated my account. I thought that, getting off Facebook for a little bit is healthy, I think, for anybody. So I deactivated it, and I just don't use it anymore.
Now,
which is kind of sad because I enjoyed sharing with my family. I enjoyed sharing with my friends and neighbors things that were going on in my life. I just don't have that opportunity anymore.
Yeah.
It's a chilling on free speech for public officials. There's 21 million public officials in America, public employees, 21 million. And the idea that we can't have personal lives and we can't have privacy would have a chilling effect should the courts adopt that test.
Did you think this would be that controversial at the time, or do you think it should be going forward?
This is the craziest thing that's ever happened in my life. This is nuts. When I walked into the Supreme Court today and I saw the Chief Justice walk in and to see Clarence Thomas and Amy Coney Barrett in person, it's just like, I looked over at my wife, I said, this is just like a surreal dream. Never thought it would happen, never thought it would come to this, because there's so many ways to contact me. You can send me an email, you can come to our council meetings and yell at me at my council meetings, and you can send me a nasty email, whatever you really want to do. I never thought that my personal Facebook page would become this issue. But, this is a point of clarity that needs to happen across the country. Technology is changing. Public officials are engaging family members in new ways. And so a bright line does need to be adopted. And so I'm grateful to the court to take the case and to make that bright line available. I'm really doing this. I feel like a part of me, I'm doing this on behalf of those 21 million Americans to make sure that their rights are protected, whether you're a school teacher, a police officer, or a janitor, that their rights are protected.
I'm curious.
Just imagine, I'm not elected. I'm appointed. I'm a paid employee.
Yeah.
And so if it can happen to me, it can happen to any paid public employee.
I'm curious what the reaction has been from other public appointees, whether they've been appointed or elected. What has the conversation been like for you? Are other people surprised by this? Are they trying to act differently with their own social media accounts?
I think a lot of people were surprised by it, but once you deal with it, you realize it makes sense. Yeah, I've had a lot of managers reach out to me, public employees reach out to me, very concerned about what this effect would have on public employees.
All right, and a decision is expected by summer of next year. From what you witnessed today, do you have any feeling or thought about which way this might go?
It was very interesting to hear the line of questioning. I think they agree with us to a certain degree. And so it'll be interesting how they define the bright line. But it was, it was just very compelling because it's really hard to tell based on the questions they ask, what they're really thinking. If you look at previous decisions, previous arguments. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, of course, whatever they do decide, we will be following closely. James Freed, Port Huron city manager. Yeah, sorry?
It was crazy. It was crazy to hear him talk about my dog so much.
Sure.
Supreme Court justice talking about my dog.
Your dog, children pictures. I see how surreal it would have been for you. James, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.